child. Keri Hilson came back and I was here for it, okay? I was just over here gagging yesterday. So she comments on the Shade Room. You use the word co-wrote. Thank you, okay? I rewrote 3 lines in your verse, meaning they didn't even take what she created originally. Yo, Keri really ate her up, man. She ate her up. I know y'all see everything that's going on right now with Keri Hilson and shit like that, and I think like it's so interesting, you know, like it's just so interesting. So I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about that. I'm gonna make this a little bigger because like so y'all know it was the remix to her song, I think Turning Me On or whatever. I remember it a little bit. I didn't care for it that much, but you know, I loved Keri Hilson. Like Keri Hilson is cool. I'm not like a fan of her or anything, but like, you know, she was cool. Like she had her hits and I loved those hits. And so like everybody else, it's just kind of sad to see where her career went all this time. But you know, now she's coming back and stuff like that. And I haven't even listened to her new song, but I'm definitely gonna do that after this because of everything happening right now, like I'm definitely gonna tune into her album and stuff like that because like why not? I wish this was something like I cared about, you know, because then it's like we could have been new. Well, not like officially, because like you could have looked up the credits anytime and seen that Ester was a writer on the song. But like, you know, just because like someone is a writer on the song doesn't really I mean, obviously they're involved, but like you never know like what part they wrote and what part they didn't write. And so that's one of the things that like I liked about Keri Hilson addressing this whole thing. I'm gonna put Keri Hilson songs back on my playlist because why not? You know, like she was so great, you know, and like she just so like Keri Hilson is so like she just looks so innocent, you know, like her whole demeanor is nothing like a regular artist, you know, like an average artist or whatever.
Cause you're turning me out. Your vision cloudy if you think that you the best. You can dance, she can sing, but need to move it to the left, to the left. She need to go have some
Imagine, like, I don't understand what they was thinking. Seriously.
baby, she need to sit down, she fake. The mother chicks ain't even worth my time to talk about. And had dollars, boy, go and get your money up. No, you ain't the only homie on me. Love these bitches.
Yikes. So, yeah, tragic.
Coming in to go right.
Tragic. And you know, like the all of the rumors all of these years was really between like Keri and Beyonce. And I kind of never wanted to believe those rumors because you know, like there's this whole narrative that I actually think now I feel like is more true that you know, like we all know like Jay-Z doesn't want people getting in the way of his cash cows, Beyonce and Rihanna and stuff like that. And so you know, like there are the rumors that like, you know, Beyonce put a stop to Anne-Marie's career and Keri Hilson's career allegedly. And it's just like those are things about people that I want to believe or whatever. But after this situation, child, it's like, and you got to really think about it. Did do you think now seriously, right? Obviously, Keri Hilson was set up, right? But do you actually think that it was her own label, like Polo the Don, at least him, you know, conspiring with others? Who the fuck knows? To give her this verse and to diss Beyonce to get her out of the way. And you got to think about it, especially, and I'm not alleging anything, I'm just asking, especially because, you know, that happened, her career dried up, but all of them, every one of them went on to go and work with Beyonce. If they all worked with Beyonce, Polo the Don, mind you, I immediately went to Polo the Don's page and he locked down his shit. And of course he did because everybody was coming for him, like the Beehive was coming for him as they should, you know. And because I had to, you know, I would have left the comment. I was looking at him everywhere because how dare these people, like seriously, how dare you, and how dare you not give her a choice? Like that's the real annoying part about this. And I love situations like this because it exemplifies the power dynamics that there are between artists and executives. And it's just like, as I always say, like, you know, growing up and stuff like that, like you always look at the artist as the finished product, as, oh my God, like this artist is so great, they're all put together, but everything about them is someone's job. And there are a lot of people's jobs behind the scenes. And so and I think in recent times, like all of the things that we hear on social media nowadays, for like what's it called? You know, just what's happening in the business, it really shows you how powerless artists are. But yeah, and I knew that Keri Hilson was signed to Timbaland. I didn't know that it was a joint venture with him and Polo the Don. Like, of course, because like we're young at this point when Keri Hilson was lit. So I ain't, you know, really on who was Keri Hilson signed to. Like that didn't matter back in those days, you know, to us at least. So yeah. let's go back to the neighborhood talk and hear a little bit about what she had to say.
write a remix to turn me on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the whole time I've been writing concepts, like, but I come into the studio and he plays me this verse, and I'm like, automatically, I'm like, I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
That was my position. So I tried to fight him on it, and I began writing my own. That's what I did with my time there. But I want to be careful with the word I use.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite.
The fact that it took her this long to say it is a huge red flag in and of itself. The fact that she had to rephrase her thought just to say the actual word, it was forceful. He forced you. Still protecting them. And she still ain't tell the whole story.
Forceful. You know what I mean?
In an executive artist way?
Yeah, in an executive artist way only.
Mm-hmm.
You know, involving others and kind of threatening my career in a sense, in a real sense. Like, you're not coming because my album wasn't out yet.
What did y'all think of Esther Dean's response? Fuck all of that. This is what I want to hear y'all thoughts on or whatever. Because after Keri Hilson says this, Esther Dean gonna go and post up a photo with Polo the Dawn. Now I follow Esther Dean, so I see her quite a lot on my timeline. I feel like this was so weird for her to go and post this picture of her and Polo the Don and no caption, right? Absolutely no caption. So that just confirms that what's it called? That you wrote the verse. And so I'm like, yo, how are we saying that it was Esther Dean? Because like Keri Hilson, she ain't say no names in the interview. So then Glock Topics was like, they looked up the writing credits, and I'm like, duh, Destiny. Like, how did you miss that stuff? Like, that's the most important step. We could have did that this whole time and found out this whole time that it was Esther Dean that really wrote the this verse or whatever. And so yeah, I felt like it was weird for her to do this because it's like for you to like, I'm glad that you're saying that it was you, but so you're like sort of taking accountability, but you need to explain yourself because why are you writing these kinds of things about other women in the industry? Like why was that your point of view? That's what you need to explain. And that's how we really know it's like, was this really a conspiracy by Polo the Don? Or I mean, I think like it had to be obviously, but it's just like now Esther, is on you to explain what was the deal between you and Polo the Don. Why did you write that? Because clearly that's not how Keri felt. So why did you feel like that? Do you feel like that? Did you feel like that? Sorry, past tense. Did you feel like that towards Beyonce and other women in the industry? Okay, because it's kind of fake, you know, for you to be saying that and then sitting up in Beyonce face working with her. Okay, what songs did Esther write with Beyonce? Because I don't really know off the top of my head like that. So yeah. Writing a diss track against Beyonce is crazy. These are what the fans are saying. I love B always willing. If she want to diss record on somebody, I'll write that. Bitch, no. What you should have said, if she want to diss me, I'll be cool with that. That's what I expected to read. So it's just like, bitch, where is the accountability? Like, I didn't feel like she was really taking accountability here. So someone else says, I wonder why you went so hard on that remix. Do you dislike Beyonce personally? And this was your chance to third party insult her? Or were you just writing a damn song because that's your job and people are being too sensitive because it's Beyonce? Either way, I still love Drop It Low Girl IDC IDC. And so that's basically what I just said. Do you dislike Beyonce personally, or did somebody put you up to this? That is the question. She never said your name. Please don't come at her. Both of you are such incredible artists. Facts. Yeah, but you know, didn't really take it too much as an attack or whatever. But anyway, so that was weird. You know, I feel like her posting it was weird. So then after some time, like she submits a statement to the Breakfast Club and they post it like as a joint post on from her Instagram to what's it called? To their Instagram or whatever, which was just interesting. They deleted it because yeah, so here she posted it and then she said that she got the comments on. She said, I submitted a lot of verses for that remix. One got picked and it was co-written with Keri. Now, this is what I did not like about her quote unquote statement / apology. I submitted a lot of verses for that remix. One got picked. So honestly, you're digging yourself into a hole now because at first I could have just asked, well, is that how you felt about Beyonce? Or did somebody put you up to it if it was only one verse, right? But now since you said that it was multiple verses, so some of those verses may have not been a dig or whatever, and some of them might have been. So because this one got picked, What's my question gonna be? And it was co-written with Keri. This one got picked. What was the contents of the other verses? Were all of them like this, or were they just chill or following the original meaning of the song? Anyway, sorry if I'm talking too much. Let's keep going. So yeah, this was my main issue with her statement is because she said it was co-written with Keri. Keri just sat up in an interview and said, "I did not write that. I actually wrote other verses, and he didn't want those ones. He didn't want to choose those ones." So she's basically saying in the interview, "I had nothing to do with the verse. All I did was record it." So that absolves her kind of accountability in order for creating the verse. And so now you come to Esther Dean's profile and she's like, "Oh, it was co-written," meaning that both of them had a hand in writing it. Well, here's my thing, and this is like what I would love to see credits get updated and upgraded, like nowadays and in the future, because why I don't like when people use the word co-written or co-wrote. It's the correct word to use, but you don't know. So my question is, every time I hear somebody say that, so what part did you write and what part did the other person write? Just because you said you co-wrote something, I don't know which part you wrote. So you're still trying to tag Keri into the situation because you're saying co-written. No, you should have never said that. You should have cleared it up from the beginning. You should have said, "I wrote it, the verse." Whoa, that sentence was crazy. I'm starting to sound like Cardi. "I wrote it, the verse, bitch." I wrote majority of the verse, and we took 3 lines from Keri's verse. That's what you should have said, especially as a professional songwriter who's been doing this for over 2 decades now. And that's what I did not like about the statement, because it's like this was your chance to take accountability and you didn't. So anyway, she says, "Looking back, it was childish and didn't age well. I see how it hurt people, especially women, and I take full accountability." No, you didn't, because you just used the word oh my god, why am I speaking crazy? You just used the word co-written. You should have just said, "I wrote it," and we included 3 lines from her verse. Then that would have been taking accountability, because you would have took accountability for the part that was an insult, idiot. Anyway, I've worked with and supported many women since, but that doesn't erase the moment. I'm sorry for my part in it. Growth is real, and so was this apology. No, not really feeling it. Not really feeling it. And it's a kind of unfortunate, because it's like I don't really have a reason to dislike Esther Dean because I don't know her. All we know about her is that she's written these amazing songs for a lot of our favorite artists. And so yeah, like but it's just like you do it now knowing that you was behind the situation. It makes you look weird, and now that you're trying to get out of taking accountability, it makes you look even weirder. So yeah, how did you guys feel about her apology at first? Because then after this, what happened? Child, Keri Hilson came back, and I was here for it. Okay, I was just over here gagging yesterday. So she comments on the shade room. I never went to the shade room to see anything, but who. So she said, "Dean, I personally don't think this is our fight to have. I respected you on this matter for 16 years and attempted to do that again yesterday while finally expressing the truth when asked. But since you're coming to the table, let's be clear. You use the word co-wrote. Thank you. Okay, I rewrote 3 lines in your verse," meaning they didn't even take what she created originally, right? Keri said that she wrote her own verses, or she was coming up with ideas, because remember, she was on tour traveling during that time, and they couldn't find a time to get her in the studio. So she was jotting down her ideas, and then like, and but they obviously didn't use any of it, because Keri is now using the word rewrote, meaning we really took the whole verse. They chose a verse from Esther. We took the whole verse, and Keri only rewrote 3 of those lines. So she didn't even use, well, allegedly, she didn't even use any of the lines that she created on her own, like when before she had Esther's verse. Anyway, which is why she said in her next line, "I rewrote 3 lines in your verse," which was the only battle I won in the whole matter, right? That was the only suggestion of hers that they took. Those 3 lines. So that's what you should have addressed. Because we could have deaded it from there. Because I was surprised to see Keri come and address Esther, because she's not even that type of girl. Like Keri Hilson, we don't really know her, like clapping back and being in drama and shit like that. But this is how you clear your name, and professionally. So she says, "Which is the only battle I won in the matter, but you weren't there when all this was going down, and we didn't write it together." She says, "These lines are mine. Been getting dollars, boy. Go and get your money up. No, you ain't the only homie on me, line up." The softest section, she said, "Lines about a boy," because not only did I strongly disagree with the unnecessary hateful sentiments towards other women, and I've never been a fan of the publicity stunt method, I also argued in my trail attempts that this verse isn't even on subject with the original song, which is how I even got those 3 lines on the remix. They were taken from, thank you, they were taken from the ideas and lines in my phone that I mentioned in the full interview. You chose to stay quiet for 16 years, but coming out only now, when you left a portion of the heat, when you felt a portion of the heat I've gotten all this time. I really wasn't going to discuss this anymore, but in that interview, we talked about the backlash of not speaking up for myself. So I just want to finally clear the air respectfully. For those who only watch the clip, I suggest you watch the full interview. And now I'll definitely watch the full interview so I can get into her album when it comes out. So yeah, she says that they were taken from the lines and ideas in my phone. Child, you stay quiet for 16 years. When coming out only now when you only felt a portion of the heat. Yo, Keri really ate her up, man. She ate her up professionally. I was so here for this. I was so here for this. Keri Hilson has always been beautiful. She's always been talented. She's just she definitely is my cup of tea. I can't recall ever really listening to a Keri Hilson album growing up, but definitely will. And not even only her hits that I fucked with, but her song Energy, which wasn't like it was still like a hit, but it wasn't like a hit because it's not really a happy song. It's really a song about enduring like abuse, different types of abuse in relationships. And I always really like that song, always touched me like very deeply. So even from when I was young. So I definitely appreciate Keri for this. And I know she dropped a song like last week or so because that's what she's promoting. And her album drops, I think, did it say 4/18, which is next Friday? So yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah. She's her new album that's called We Need to Talk on 4/18. So I'll check it out at some point, like at some point. So shout out to Keri Hilson. Make sure to go stream her music because let's check her Spotify real quick. Now it seems like she's totally independent. So she said that she was signed to Polo the Don and Timbaland in a joint venture to Interscope Records. Okay. And so at some point, she gets dropped from Interscope because things are not going well for million monthly listeners. Dope. Energy, 35 million. Amazing. Knock You Down, number one. Dope. Pretty Girl Rock. Facts. Like all of her music is, pretty great. I guess, 202,000 streams thus far for her latest single, Bay. So let's check this out because I was looking at it and it says the source for the song is Audible Art Club / Create Music Group. So Create Music Group is an independent distributor, but it's like one of the major independents where like a lot of like well-known artists have used Create to distribute their music. So it's definitely for people who are independent, but they still have like a name because I think 6ix9ine has used it before. I think Create even distributed one of 6ix9ine's collabs with Nicki. The moral of the story is that Keri Hilson is independent now, so it's really important to support her if you care. So that's why I'm gonna go and stream. You know how other people like, 'cause I've seen other things, like other people saying on the timeline, like, oh, like, well, Keri, she's not innocent because she went to diss Beyonce and red carpets and interviews and stuff like that. And she's had her stuff to say. And I'm like, yeah, and people are pulling back up like an old interview where she talks about not being forced to do it. And it's just like, bro, don't you understand that she said she was protecting those people? Like so many artists lie just to protect people. Like, so it's just like, child, please use your brains. Tiffany Red had some thoughts. And yeah, let's see what she had to say. Cause she's actually a co-writer on this new Keri song, and she's written several songs on the album. So if you follow her, she'll talk about it or whatever. So yeah,
I protected him. I protected the girl that wrote it, who went on to become famous. I protected everyone in the story, so I had to eat that. And I am still eating it to this day.
I think the thing that speaks to me the most from this interview is, just another story of a power dynamic being used to get people to do things they don't want to do. And that is very typical of the music industry. It's very typical of how artists are handled, how songwriters are handled, how producers are handled. And it's really disappointing. I really hate that this was her experience, but I'm so proud of her for taking control of her life, taking control of her career, taking control of her story. And I am so proud to be a songwriter on her upcoming project. And I can't wait for y'all to hear this music because it's amazing.
Okay, so that's what Tiffany Red had to say. Y'all know she is the owner of 100%ers who be out here exposing all these people for not paying songwriters and stuff like that. So these are all her accounts that she has and stuff, her organizations. And yeah, I just really love the work that she does. So I'm always following her, to see what the real tea is or like that. So yeah, she's a writer on this song and on Keri's album. So yeah, so like people are commenting and stuff like in the industry or whatever. So I told her, I said, we need a longer convo about this. You got to get her on the couch because Tiffany has her own YouTube channel and like she'll go live. Because I actually have one of Tiffany's lives on my channel that I haven't dropped yet, but I'm going to drop it because, you know, she is one of the people who is behind the scenes advocating for one of the songwriters behind the $5 million lawsuit with Chloe Bailey. Like she's working directly with him. So she had went live when the lawsuit dropped to really go through the lawsuit. So anyway, yeah, like always here for what Tiffany has to say. Okay. So she's just, so if you're interested, I'm just showing you guys like her accounts because 100 Music News, like she started like a new page that's kind of like more of like music business type shit, but like, you know, like a blog page, but like music industry news. So I saw that, so I was following that. So it's called 100 Music News if anybody is interested. So always good to hear people's perspectives from the industry. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me through that.